Hi, I'm Natasha Leggero. I love my kid, but she gave me lice yesterday.
This is fresh!
From Wondery, I'm Chris Garcia.
I'm Megan Gailey.
I'm Kurt Brownohler.
And this is I Love My Kid, but...
That's what we look like. That's what we look like.
Folks, welcome to I Love My Kid, But the show that will always reassure you that you're doing a better job than we're doing. You can listen to it as you go to bed and never have bad dreams because, or maybe you will. Maybe we'll inspire bad dreams. Of course, I'm joined by my fantastic co-hosts, Chris Garcia and Megan Gailey. Hi, guys.
Hi.
Hi.
You can also watch it on YouTube and wonder why I never learned to sit up straight in my whole fucking life.
But also, do you want that out of a podcast host? Someone who's just straight back to low.
No, it's just...
Hello.
We're here, we're comfortable.
Exactly.
You know, we were talking about like pillow colors before, and one of my like go-to questions when I am like trying to connect with a child that doesn't want to connect with me, and that happens quite often, is what's your favorite color? And I don't know your guys' favorite color.
What's your favorite color, Chris?
Purple.
Really?
Yeah.
That is so trashy.
It's Sunny's, too. It happens to be Sunny's.
Well, for Sunny's
Are you calling her
child.
trashy? She's 2.5.
No, all I'm saying is whenever someone's like wedding colors are purple, I'm like, this is going to be a disaster.
Not for a wedding. You know, like, I'm not going to wear a purple tuxedo. I'm not in high school
Now,
at prom.
how influenced it like are the Lakers in that?
It's the Lakers. It's Prince.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's the color of Alzheimer's awareness.
Okay, true.
It's a beautiful color.
Okay,
that
I
is
take it back that
hard
it's
to make.
trashy.
There's, yeah,
Just
well,
for a wedding.
It's regal. It's regal. It's trashy for
It
a
is
wedding.
regal.
Yeah.
But it's great for my favorite causes and basketball team.
It was my mom's favorite color, and she painted her house purple.
Whoa, that's a lot.
That's kind of cool.
She fucking
So if you're following along, Megan thinks my daughter and Kurt's mom are trash.
One is 2 and one is past. So pretty messed up of me. Kurt, what's your favorite color?
green, I think. Green or blue.
Yeah,
green
classic.
or blue. Yeah.
My favorite colors are blue, like royal blue, Colts blue. Why are you laughing?
You just said it like a little kid.
Blue. Blue. Well, mine are blue and pink. I love blue and pink, so it's like a gender
That's
reveal.
a tough
I
one.
go, no, I'm actually, these are stupid and you shouldn't be doing this.
Well, we're going to have to find out what our favorite color is of our guest today. Natasha Leggero will be joining us,
the
which is
coolest.
very
Yeah,
exciting.
the
She's
coolest.
so awesome. And we're going to be talking about one and done today. One and done.
Which is usually a phrase in college basketball when someone's going to play one season and then enter the NBA draft. For our purposes, we are talking about it in terms of having one child and then being in the NBA draft.
And of course, we'll start it all off with a little thing we call circle time. And Chris, I think, no, Megan, who has circle time
Chris.
today?
I have
Is it
circle
Chris?
time today.
All right, great.
Well,
I'm excited.
I'll probably chime in because I'm struggling.
It's tough. I feel like, since Sunny was born, Val and I have always been like, we're one and done. We are happy with the size of our family. And it feels like in the last 2 months, at least twice a week, people have just coming out of the woodwork and asking if we're having another kid.
Such a weird question.
So invasive.
It's incredibly invasive. That's like just to me, like, are you pregnant?
Yeah.
You look pregnant.
It's so rude. And like, it's been like fans at shows, like a mentor of mine out of the blue.
Me,
guy
I think I asked. Like,
Yeah.
I was about to be like, can I play devil's advocate? Because, I do think in like our sort of our moral sensibilities, we know now it's not appropriate to ask someone if they're pregnant, if they want to be pregnant, if they want to have, it's like whatever. But I do think once someone has a child, I go, the door's open. I want to ask every single question. Vaginally, C-section. You got more coming down the tubes.
Well, we're friends. We're good friends, intimate friends. But sometimes this Lyft driver. I was talking to him on the way to the airport, and we're talking about kids, and I have one kid, and he goes, just one? And I'm like, Yeah, oh, well, we used to have 3, but we left 2 at the fucking mall. Like, what do you want me to say? Oh, and CPS took them. They stripped them right there outside of a Wetzel's Pretzels. But, like, it's just so rude. And at a comedy show this guy hadn't seen in 20 years, right after the show, was just like, so you having another? And I was like, another what? And he's like, another kid. I was like, I don't even know. I haven't seen this guy in forever, you know? And I'm usually very graceful, you know. I'll be like, we're happy with the size of our family, or we're one and done, or like, mami, por favor, no me preguntes otra vez. You know, that's like the type of thing that. But it's gotten so annoying and so rude that I just want to be like, I don't know, do you want to pay for it? Do you know my financial situation? Do you know my work situation? Do you know if we're trying and it's going really bad?
I know, that's the craziest
yeah.
part.
Yeah.
If you ask somebody that, it's like, it could be a tragedy. It
could be a trauma.
A
Yeah.
series of tragedies.
Yeah, do you know if my marriage could sustain it?
Yeah.
You know what? Do you know if me and Val are in shambles and another kid would bring the Jenga tower down? Do you know if when I was 23, a psychic in Taos, New Mexico told me that if I had a second kid, she would be born with 17 nipples and no fingernails? Like, you don't know. You don't know any of the backstory.
Did that happen?
No, but you don't know that. That's the point. You don't know that, and I don't know. It just like, and you don't know how difficult Val's like labor was, and that's like a lot of it. Like Val was lucky to be alive. Okay, like her labor was really tough. She was born. Sunny was born at the height of lockdown. It was like the beginning of 2021. There was like Delta going on. And, but, gave birth at a natural birth center, and it was a tough labor and delivery. And within like 10 or 15 minutes of Sunny being born, Val was rushed to the emergency room at a nearby hospital, and it was COVID. So Sunny and I couldn't go, right? So, and I saw Val carted away, and I didn't know it was going to be the last time I saw her. And so,
Holy shit.
And so I was holding Sunny, and the nurse comes, with paperwork and asking me what the name is and stuff. And I didn't name her yet because I didn't know whether I was going to have to name her Valerie.
Oh.
Holy shit.
Right? And so luckily everything was okay. And the doctor said that she was a miracle, and she came home the very next day. But neither of us want to go through this ever again.
Yeah.
So, do you want to carry and birth my child, Tim? like, do you want to do that? If you're asking why we're not, was that a sufficient answer?
Yeah, do you want to get into it right here
do you want
at the improv?
Yeah. And so, but the funny thing is like 2 weeks ago, our friends called us with this amazing news that they're having a second baby. And I was like, I don't know. Should we have another one? Like, I just like instantly was like, maybe we should have another one. And I held a newborn, and I was like, well, I don't know. Could be nice, but like, it's so rude. And I wish I could just say no and just leave it at that, and not have to explain it, and that maybe Val would be on her hands and knees behind the person. I could push him over like in junior high. I think that'd be nice.
It's so intense. It's such an intense decision to do.
Yeah.
I think there still really is a stigma around not having children for sure.
Yeah.
And then like one step up from that, having only one. And it's like, yes, do I know only children that are fully bizarre? 100%. Do I know people that had siblings that are full-blown psychopaths? Yes! So it's like, I don't know that there is an answer for all of it. I don't envy anything in that story you just told, except for your clarity that it's not for you. Because, we get to, I'm working against my biological clock of going, a cost is a major factor. And people have been like, you should have had a baby during the strike. And it's like, and
what are you
for
talking
it?
about?
How?
Yeah.
And so I go, okay, well, maybe we'll wait until Conrad's in TK4 and that's free. Well, when he's in TK4, I'm going to be 41 years old.
Yeah.
And is that a perfect time to try and get pregnant? And like, I get really angry because I feel like I have outside factors telling me that I don't want to do stuff and that I'm not helping to contribute to America, from political genres. And it's like, I actually want to do everything you want a fucking straight, dumb bitch white woman to do. You have made it so difficult and so expensive and so hard to be a working person, man or woman, and have a bigger family that we're not able to do it. And so this idea that like, oh, the family is dying and people don't want to have children, you've made it impossible.
I remember when we were trying to make the decision, Lauren was like, we're having two. And I was just like, are we? And it was just because it was like, in my mind, I was like, Olive was such an easy baby and she was such a good kid that I was just like, do we want to push it?
Yeah.
We got lucky.
Trick baby. You
Yeah.
hear that all the
lucky.
time. Trick baby.
Do we really want to roll the dice again? And it is, and of course, and Gus is now revealing himself in amazing ways. And it's just like, oh, this kid's awesome. Not even speaking about the money, not even speaking about the birth, just the two-ness of it. I remember people being like, well, you've already have one.
Yeah.
So it's like, just add another one. And it's just like another, it's just like, it's not that. It's like, it's like having 10. It's like, there's one and then there's two, and then two is like all the children.
1 is 1 and 2 is 20.
Yeah,
is like a saying. And then there's
so
also, you already
insane.
have all the stuff. Like you can truly
you can
argue it.
either way. I remember someone who has recently said that they don't want to be on this podcast. He was talking to me, and he was like, and he asked me, "You're gonna have two?" And I was like, "I don't know. Lauren wants. I'm conflicted." And he's like, "You gotta do it, man. You gotta do it. Because it's like, look, your life's already over. So have a second kid." And I was like, "Oh," and I came home and I was like, "Oh, like what's his face was like, yeah, we really should do it." And that it's like they didn't have a problem having a second kid. And then like there was one point where it was like, I don't know, like both kids were shitting in the tub or something, and we're just like crying, and I'm just like, why did they tell us to have a second kid? And they're like, because they have two nannies. Guys, it's going to be interesting to see as this podcast goes on what happens with both of you. It'll be a big reveal.
We end up having 5 kids.
We'll be right back with the fantastic Natasha Leggero. All right, folks, welcome. You heard today's guest earlier at the top of the show. She's a fantastic stand-up comedian. She has a podcast with her husband called The Endless Honeymoon, and she just published a book last year, The World Deserves My Children. Please welcome to the show the wonderful Natasha Leggero.
I meant to bring you all books.
Oh.
And
We'll buy them. We should buy them. We should buy them.
It was like, it required me to like go through the garage. Like I went through the front door and I couldn't get in. And then I was like, do I want to go through the garage to bring them all books?
And you did it.
I thought I would be late, and I didn't.
And you needed to get the lice out of your hair.
Oh, yeah. So I had lice yesterday. Well, see, first of all, this is what's really depressing is my head has been itching for about 2 weeks.
Ooh.
Oh, no.
And I thought it was like this essential oil I was using. And then I started noticing my daughter yesterday. We were leaving a party, and she just looked like she was like on ecstasy or something, like just grabbing the sides of her head and scratching. And then we got a letter from the teacher. There's lice in the classroom.
Yay.
So I look at her scalp. It's crawling with these like pearly white things. And then the woman comes over to the house, and then she looks at my head. She's like, well, 80% of mothers also get the lice.
Cool.
And here's why no fathers get it. They don't usually. She goes, they aren't usually involved in head-to-head contact with the child.
Of course not.
What? So literally, the women also, in addition to everything else, get the lice.
There's
you know.
like actually a gnat flying around there. Now it's like, you keep my friends out of your mouth.
I still have like peppermint oil in my hair. So anyway, I think it's mostly out of my head. Now, little known fact, lice does not have to do with poor hygiene.
No, they like clean hair.
They like clean hair.
Yeah.
Now, body lice, that's a different thing.
Okay, well.
She told me that yesterday. That is,
good. A lice lady? She called the lice
special
lady?
The lice business is booming.
It was $500.
Yeah, they're
she had
cleaning
to
up.
comb the knits through my hair for about an hour and a half on me and the kid. Anyway, I'm lice free.
So wait, they just do it physically? She does it physically and
Yeah.
takes them out
Yes.
one by
with
one?
with like this really thin comb. I mean, we can definitely change.
And
the
then you
subject.
have to
No,
put like
I
the
love it.
ointment on it. I got lice from the Grand Canyon as a child. Yes.
From the Grand
From
Canyon?
the Grand Canyon, and then we went to Las Vegas. It was like a road trip. We went from the Grand Canyon to Las Vegas, and then all three of myself, my two brothers, we all had lice. And then my mom put the treatment on us. We were staying at the Excalibur, and Michael Jackson was there doing a meet and greet, and I refused to go down and meet him with the lice ointment in my hair, which probably dodged a bullet. And so then we go down, and they had a caricature artist, and I'm like, I want to get my caricature drawn, but my hair's in this thing. And my mom turned to the Vegas caricature artist and goes, can you draw her with beautiful hair? He drew me so hot, and I still have the picture.
That is so sweet.
So earlier we were talking about Chris and Megan both dealing with people asking, are you going to have another kid? Are you not going to have another kid? And also dealing with the thought of it or wondering what not to. They both have one child. Oh, and also, how old is your child right now?
I have a 5-year-old. She is
5-year-old
my
right
only
now.
child.
Yeah.
You can read in my chapter, in The World Deserves My Children, I have a chapter about having one child. And the quote is, one is an accessory, two is a lifestyle. And I have never wanted more than one child. You guys are both like that too, right?
I'm really on the fence. I was contractually obligated to one. And now we're renegotiating the contract. And I really love having like a baby. I'm one of those yeah.
I'm not like that.
And
I'm not like that either.
But I also like having sleep and designer bags. And so it's like, what do I love more?
I do think that to me, the biggest pull would be the sibling thing because, you know, for me, my siblings, I kind of was put into a position of like, I'm the oldest, I had to kind of take care of them. So I did the ironing and the packing the lunch and the babysitting.
How much older were you?
I was like 3 years older.
Oh, that's
than
it.
some, and then
Okay.
5 years older than another.
Oldest daughters are the
Yeah.
backbone of America. They say it's small businesses. The eldest daughter is keeping this entire economy afloat.
And whenever I talk about my childhood, my husband's like, "You sound like you were Cinderella." 'Cause I'm always like, I was, you know, edging the grass, and I had a paper route and babysitting my brothers, and so having a sibling was never something I
Joyful.
wanted. Yeah, that was never a joyful thing. And like, so having one child, I have noticed though, like, I'm really trying to make sure, like, how do I not make her a brat? Like, and I told her the other day, I was like, you know, honey, some people, they're not lucky. They're not like you. Some kids have 10 kids in their family. And my kid goes, I swear to God, she's like, Mom, 10 kids? That's a lot of nannies.
That's like 20 nannies.
Wait, am I counting right? Yeah, 20.
And hopefully she doesn't hear this podcast because she has also asked me to not tell anyone anything she ever says.
Oh, no.
that's
She
really
has
funny.
actually made that request.
Yes.
That is so difficult as
Oh
a
my
stand-up.
gosh.
Yeah.
I know.
You're like, that's why I had you. Material.
How do you think I paid for these 3 nannies?
When I go out to do shows, Olive's like, you talk about me?
Yeah.
And I'm like, yeah.
Oh,
She's like,
she
all
says
right.
that?
Yeah.
Oh my
She's
God,
like
I'm
psyched about it.
I'm at a crisis of conscience. Like, I don't know what to do because I'm like, what happens when she's 12 and she sees me? Anyway, so that's kind of, I would love an excuse to quit everything though.
Yeah. I tried to quit the day after I gave birth. I go, I'm never doing stand-up again. And my husband was like, you need money. Like, you don't have any other skills. I'm like, oh, God, I got to go back.
No, you do, I bet. I think it's time to pivot. We should all just pick something
I think
else.
I could sell real estate.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, I've been
That'd be
thinking
really
about
good.
pivots, and the only thing I can come up with is I'm probably good at planting trees.
Wait, you are?
I don't know. I've never planted a tree, but I feel like it's either that or like, I don't know, drive a train. I feel like those are the two things I'd probably be good at.
Val asked me what else I was good at, and I said killing bugs with my hands.
What?
Like I could just
can you
kill
kill
a
this
fly.
one?
I could just kill a fly. No
Well, then
problem
get
with one
this. You
hand.
got to get this gnat that's coming around.
No, Natasha
gone.
got it.
Natasha
She's
got it.
Oh, you
prime.
did?
I'm not
yes.
gonna lie. There's been bugs around me a lot. Parenting is degrading.
It really is.
It's just so degrading, and I'm just like, okay, I guess I have lice. I guess I've just been like a butler for the past 5 days because my kid's been home. I don't really know who I am anymore.
I
Was
think
that the
that's-
question?
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
You're like, are you going to have
you
another?
now?
But I have to say, I really do love my child, and I feel like I got so lucky. And also another reason, based on your question about having one, is we had when I was writing my book, I was thinking about my childhood a lot, and there was a brother that I had who was like, on the spectrum. I'm not sure what's wrong with him. He's lives in a van still like now, and he's an alcoholic, and he really made our childhood like extremely hard. And everything was about him and his problems, and I mean it was like abusive. So it's like when I think about brothers and sisters, I'm just like, wow, I got so lucky. I have this child, and she doesn't need all this special attention. And I mean, she does in her own way. But I just feel like I saw how my mom struggled and how it overtook our entire family. And, I don't want to do that.
That was exactly what I was saying when we were talking about it in the opening, which is how I felt when we had Olive. I was just like, we did it. We won the lottery. We have a kid who's healthy and fine.
Why rip up the ticket and play again?
Yeah, exactly. Why are we going to play again? And Lauren was like, because we are. And I was like, okay.
No, but you're so lucky to have that like common ground. Like when you guys die, they're going to have each other. That's going to be
people
amazing.
say, I think about that a lot.
Like I try to just like imagine that my child will be like Kate Berlant, because like I know her mom was older when she had her, and like she was an only child, and she's so creative, and I feel like she got all the like fostering, and so I always think of my kid like, oh, I'm just gonna like put her in an all girls school. I don't know. I just am like always thinking there's got to be. I'll just shower her with not that I don't know how Kate was raised, but I just see there are successful only children, and I think
I'm an only child. Yeah,
you are.
Yeah.
And it got a lot of bad PR, but it's like statistically, only children. I mean, you guys can look this up, but they make more money. They're higher educated, and a lot of times it's because parents who are older, they only have one. They have more resources. They put on the kids. So there's a lot of reasons why, but the whole idea that they're weird, I think, kind of stems from capitalism. They want they need us to buy like 9 iPhone chargers per family. Like, what if you were just a little small family,
Yeah, exactly.
So I like it.
I love the amount of time I get to spend with both Val and Sunny. Like I'm busy, and I spend a lot of time with both of them, and then I get time with Val by herself and Sunny by ourselves. Yeah, and it's just like it's a nice amount of time, and I don't really want to bring anyone else into it. Is another thing. It's like, oh, now I have less time with these people. Like I don't know. I just rather.
Yeah,
it feels nice. I like our little team of 3. I mean, there's other reasons, but like it just feels cozy and nice, And I just want to spend all this time with this cool little kid, and her mom. And
I
that's it.
really like being the only woman in the house too.
Oh,
where it's
that's
like
cute.
if I were to have another, I think it would be a daughter, and she would probably ruin my life. Because my son is like so mellow, so good, such a like a true trick baby. And I'm like, I just like not having to compete for my husband's love with another woman. Like I don't know if I could handle
And
it.
Megan will
challenging.
be referring to the child as a woman upon birth. Well,
and
look
like-
at this little woman.
Well, here's the thing. I have a hot mom, and like it's hard, and it's like
Your
my
mom's
husband
a
is.
babe.
Did
My
she
mom's
like
straight up a
flaunt
babe.
her hotness?
No, she
or-
doesn't even, which makes it like she's not even like she doesn't even have big old fake hooters. She just like normal hot. And then my husband's Filipino, and so then I'm gonna have an exotic daughter. Get the fuck out of here! Like I cannot handle. I can't handle that. I cannot handle it.
But how do we make them not like I think in Asia they call it like sick princess syndrome or something, like because they had everyone by law had to have one child for so
Right.
long that there's all these like little emperors and sick princesses, they're called, like they kind of rule the house. They grow up around help. They have nannies. Like, how do you kind of keep them in check? Like, us as like latchkey kids who didn't have money. It's
Right.
like I don't know. And I had so many jobs my whole childhood.
Me too.
And
Yeah.
it's just, I didn't know anyone who had a nanny. I don't think anyone in my whole city ever had a nanny.
I didn't know
Babysitters that were
anybody.
like 11, but no one was like, this woman drove here in a car. That did not exist
No, it
where
did
I
not.
was.
But school's out at 2:40.
I know.
How would a woman with a career, even like a career, even if you work till 4, which is pretty light, you still would have to have someone helping you. Like, it's impossible.
Where I grew up, every house basically had a nanny, and it's because we lived in a Latino neighborhood. We were on the other side of it. In my neighborhood, they were the working nannies, not we didn't have the nannies.
Yeah.
We were the,
The nannies were out of the house.
they were out of the house.
So we have this thing. It's called the struggle wand, Natasha.
Okay.
We'll give it to you. And now, anything you're struggling with in parenting, you have the floor. Let us know about it.
I'm struggling with I think I'm like my daughter's bitch, and I don't really know like. And I often say to her, I know I'm not saying this right, but I really am upset that you said that to me. And can you please not scream in my face? And can you get your own Kleenex? And like, I do feel like I don't really know. I'm kind of bombarded on Instagram with how to speak to my child correctly by women named Dr. First Name, and they're in a frenzy walking through the streets telling me exactly what I'm saying wrong to my child. And when you tell your child it's time to take a shower, you don't say it's time to take a shower, okay? Because by saying okay, you're immediately negating your own voice. And so it's like every single thing. So I need like a script. It's not natural to me. And every single thing I see on Instagram by millennial mothers who are doctors, it does that I'm being targeted to. It does seem like, do we know what this generation is going to be like? Do we need to validate every single possible thing that this PhD doctor says? Like I said to my kid the other day, I was like, because they say, don't say good job. Do not say good job to your child.
Every day.
Make sure you say you worked really hard on that. So
You put a lot of effort into that.
Yeah,
Or like, so I like the color you chose.
Yes.
And it's just like, yeah, you know what? I'm going to say fucking good job.
Well, so I said it to my kid the other day. She came up with this little thing she made in the house, this sculpture, and I said, wow, you worked really hard on that. And she goes, no, I didn't. And then the other things I'm trying to test out from these annoying doctors who, oh, really? They know everything.
Yeah.
And make me feel so insecure. They're like, make sure to say this. So I've been trying to talk to her about these things. Like, you don't say, how was your day at school? You ask them a specific question.
We were just talking
Who
about
did
that.
you sit with at lunch today? Here's my daughter's response. I don't feel like talking.
Yeah.
So it's like, okay, so it doesn't really matter what I say, lady.
That's why I was just talking about this. Gus now says, I'm not going to tell you.
Oh, my God.
But I save these videos like on Instagram. Like I'll write them down and I'll try to remember in the moment. I just always forget in the moment. But you just feel so dumb, You can't say, don't say you look beautiful.
Yep.
Just say you light up a room. What the fuck?
That's what they say about someone on Dateline right before they die.
Listen, I'm telling you, the undertone of all of this is making you feel bad.
Yes.
That's what Instagram is. Like, I'll never forget. It was the end of the pandemic. I was more depressed than I'd ever been. And I talked to a friend and they're like, wow, you're doing so great. And I go, what? They're like, I just saw your Instagram, all your camping pictures. I'm like, that was the most hellish thing that's ever happened to me. And I'm like, oh, I'm projecting that it's amazing. And I think it's the same. Like, I look at my house and I hate it because all the people I follow have these perfect houses and I'm following all these design sites. So my house feels like I'm like one of those teenage girls who just looks at skinny people
Your
and think
house
they're
is
inequality.
so gorgeous.
But it's always a mess, and it doesn't add up to that. So the same thing with these parenting influencers. Nothing will ever add up, and it's not really true. So fuck you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
That is the whole point of this podcast.
I honestly didn't know that was in there. I got really mad.
Good.
That was it.
Maybe that wand has power.
It does.
That's what we look like.
So we do this thing right at the end of the show where we put things in timeout, things that we're all completely done with for parenting. We'll go first, and then you'll go last, if it's okay with you.
Things I'd like to put in a timeout. Okay.
Yeah, things that you're just done with, that you're super done with. Chris, Meg?
I'll take it.
Okay.
I would like to put, this is usually comes from a single guy that's a friend. I would like to put the question, so, how's dad life? In timeout.
Yeah.
There's always a tone, you know.
Yep.
Kurt.
It's always a comic.
It's always a comic. It's always a tone. It's always a little reductive. It's like dismissive. It's condescending. It's like they don't. As soon as you start talking, they tuned out. And I just want to be like, my dad life, is hard. It's tiring. It's expensive. But last week was it was Indigenous People Day, and Sunny was home from she was home from daycare, so I took her to the California Science Center. And the California Science Center is very dear to my heart because it's where my dad took me when I was a kid living in LA, and he would try to get me into being an astronaut. This is what I really wanted because he was he's not from this country, but he was a machinist, and he worked for Rockwell, this company that made this the Endeavor, which is a space shuttle that is at the California Science Center. Now he never got to see it there because he had Alzheimer's disease, and then he died a couple years later, and he never got to meet Sunny. But I got to take Sunny to the California Science Center, and like he took me when I was a kid, and we walked into this big airplane hangar, and we saw the Endeavor, the spacecraft that my father worked on.
Whoa.
And she ran right to it, and she ran under it, and she started like dancing and spinning around. And it was like the most beautiful thing I've seen since she was born and since I spread my dad's ashes. So dad life's going pretty good. How's pickleball? Yeah, it's going good. Thank you.
Megan?
I would like to give a timeout to the woman who asked me if I am Conrad's grandmother.
No, she did not.
You look too young to even have a kid. That's just like...
The thing is, I know why she asked this, and it's even crazy. So we were sitting, we were on vacation. I had brought Conrad into a sports book, which is where you gamble on sports. He is absolutely not supposed to be in there. People were looking at me horrified. And
Wait, you were going to gamble?
Yeah, I was in the process of gambling while
You're
holding him.
a gambler?
On
Is this in Indiana?
No, this was in the Bahamas. This is in the
the
Caribbean.
Bahamas. Yeah,
Who cares? I'm having a beer. I'm betting on teams I don't even care about. I'm like the Bengals. Like Conrad's looking at me like it's like you're learning a trade. You're not going to college, so let me bet on the Bengals.
Yeah.
So I'm sitting holding him. CJ, my husband, is sitting right next to me, and the woman is sitting behind us, a Dolphins fan, and she goes, "He is the cutest baby." And I turn like this, so she sees my profile. I go, "Thank you so much," and then she's talking to my husband, and then she says to the back of my head, "And you're his grandmother." and my brother's there too, and my brother goes, "Hey, no. Like, starts like flagging her down like she's a car. Like, no. And I truly think she could not wrap her brain around that CJ was Asian and I was white, and so I must be the grandmother.
I see.
So it was actually racist.
It's not an age thing.
Oh, it was just racism.
It was so, and then I turn and she goes, "Well, I can't see what she looks like from the back."
Well, wouldn't it be the default of it being your mom?
I have a very youthful back. I was in a backless sundress. It's like, this is clearly not a grandmother. It was in, and then she couldn't drop that she wasn't wrong. She was like, "What? I didn't know."
I didn't know. That's a point where you just back off, lady, and you go, I'm so silly.
My brother was furious. He keeps talking about it in the family thread. Like, he keeps being like, "I cannot get over that fucking piece of shit woman that asked if Megan was Conrad's grandmother."
They did.
Your brother slipped her $40 to do that.
And you know what? She was old as shit. She was so old. And I'm like, what?
I'm going to put screaming in timeout. But it's a very specific type of screaming that has just come into being in my home. Whereas Gus, because he didn't speak for so long, he now has really come into using his words, and he's getting louder because he used to be quiet because Olive would just talk nonstop all the time, which she still does. But then Gus would just not talk because she's always talking for him. But now he's got his words, and he's at a preschool. He feels confident. So now when they wind each other up into just screaming, but they're like talking, screaming. And I found myself yesterday just being like, and trying not to do it screaming, but then I started screaming, going, everyone needs to stop screaming. And they just like looked at me like I was a monster. I was like, this is what you guys have been doing for like a 45 minutes.
See, I would take that over her wanting me to constantly play imaginary games with her.
Yeah.
She has no sibling, and I'm so bad at imaginary games. Like, I would take that any day. Actually, bring Olive over when that's happening, and
great.
they can scream at each other
Okay,
while I do my thing.
Natasha?
Okay, I would like to put in a timeout the accumulation of dad hobbies. Like, I feel like every dad I know has like at least 2 to 3 hobbies. Like my husband, he's just got back into DJing after a 12-year hiatus. He is surfing constantly. He's camping. He goes to Burning Man. He goes to post-Burning Man parties for weekends, pre-Burning Man parties for weekends. And when I look at like what my daughter asked me the other day, she's like, "What are you passionate about?" And I'm like, So I keep thinking of things like I want to. I'm like, like 2 days later, I'm like, honey, remember when you asked me what I was passionate about? I like design. I'm very into design. So I'm trying to come back to myself. Like that's a lot about what my book is about. The World Deserves My Children, and Simon & Schuster. You can also hear me read the audiobook. Is the idea of like, who is my pre-motherhood personality? How do I get back to that? But really, should I be getting back to that? Because I am changed, and changing is life. And so, it's a real examination of that. But yes, I feel like men have too many hobbies. Women, mothers need to get more hobbies, and that's what I'd like to.
Both of you, less hobbies.
Less hobbies. Got it.
Just like wait till like everything's scheduled and you bought the groceries and you've helped in the way that you help. You guys are both like,
I've got disc golf tomorrow morning. Daycare drop off.
I was literally just thinking about what you're saying, and I was like, well, I don't have too many. And then I was
counting your
And
hobbies.
then she
On
named
Saturday.
all of yours.
I know.
No, on Saturday we walk out of our house and into the ocean on one day a year, and it's for for bananas. It's called Door to Shore, and we do it for charity. But we walk like 19 miles across the city, and it takes all day long, and it's a fantastic day. And it happens to be the one day where like Olive's school big, huge fundraiser pumpkin festival is at her school. And Lauren's like, oh, the one fucking day. She's like, you're not scheduling anything until you check with the LAUSD schedule.
Oh, I know. Yes, you have to do you guys know about shared calendar? So I start putting things in my calendar and add him as an invitee. Mm-hmm. So whenever it's, because he doesn't remember, so I keep, and someone showed me how to do it. And I think he gets alerts when it happens. Yeah. So that's good.
We'll just cut that part of the podcast.
No, but can I just say for the record, you two gents here, I can tell that you're very involved, almost mother-like fathers. You're like primary parent.
I can tell you guys are like pussies.
Yeah, you guys are like the
is there, you're
dad cucks?
involved.
Are you guys like the paternal cucks of the parenting world?
My husband, Moshe, he is a very involved dad, but he still has like one foot in the like, I stay up till 3 a.m., I DJ, I go to parties, I do my own thing. Like nothing can hold me down. I'm still young. And not that you guys aren't young, but I feel like
No.
like you guys remember to bring a backpack with some of the kids' stuff in it when you go to outings, right?
Yes.
You're like backpack dads.
Yes.
My husband's not that.
Oh, God. I said to CJ.
Oh my God, the scowl.
I like your snarl.
I said, if I have to pack a bag one more fucking time, I'm going to murder you. And then I'm like, do we have what? I have a thing. Wipes, diapers, snacks. It's like, and I don't think he's ever packed a bag.
Maybe we could also cut out the part where I say that I will bring a bag, because Val won't agree with that either. But if she's not there, I'll do it. But
if she's not there.
Yeah.
Great.
I do bring a bag.
Yeah, you are.
You've got baggy
I'm the
energy.
most cucked out dad.
You are the biggest.
But it's good. It's it's partnership. And
Yeah, it's totally
for me,
fun.
I've just tried, like, Moshe's great at cooking. So I'm like, okay, you should be doing the cooking,
Yeah.
like just trying to find the things that they're really good at.
Nice. Well, thank you for being here, Natasha.
Oh, thank you. It was a pleasure. Hopefully my daughter doesn't get mad when she hears it in 5 years.
And
Because I love you so much, honey. I really do.
would you plug your book again?
My book is called The World Deserves My Children. It has just been re-released on paperback. It just came out last November, but I love it.
Congratulations on getting a re-release on paper.
Thank you. And it is available. You can go to my Instagram to find it, or I would get the book on tape, because really, who reads anymore? And it's me reading it out loud to you.
Which is basically a podcast.
Yeah, while you do the dishes.
Yay. And of course, listen to the Endless Honeymoon, which is such a great
Endless
podcast.
Honeymoon podcast. Me and Moshe, we give relationship advice, and also we take your deep, dark secrets, and love doing the podcast.
Thank you. Well, that was wonderful.
She's a personal idol of mine.
She's really so funny.
She's so funny. I was
Yeah.
dying. The social media rat, get out of here. She's a champion. I would vote for her.
I would too.
And her house, what
Is-
she was
yeah,
like,
that's
I'm
so
like,
funny.
I look at even just like I've never been to it, but just like the photos of it, I can see. I'm like, should I paint my
It's
ceiling?
gorgeous.
Like, I'm looking at your house, like, my house sucks, and you're looking at people's houses, like,
Yeah.
your house sucks. That's crazy.
Wes Anderson looks at her house like, I'm a piece of shit. It's so well designed. It's amazing.
It really is. Now, listen, if you want to call in, you can. You can give us your own I love my kid butt stories by calling 424-570-KIDS. That's 424-570-KIDS, or you can email us at ilovemykid@wondery.com. And make sure you say I love my kid butt to start it off, and maybe we'll use it on the air just like this.
I love my kids, but can they just not mess with my shit? Like, a razor from the shower is not meant to peel a potato. And expensive ass conditioner that's supposed to help my hair is not meant for potions in the bathroom. just saying. Thanks. Bye.
Thank
Hey,
Those are great examples.
Those are
that's
really
incredible.
It is
Peeling a potato with a razor.
I love
and
that.
with-
Also, you
and
have to
make-
admire.
no, it is
Yeah.
a little like, okay, that's smart. Like, if they were in prison, you know, like,
Yeah.
that is what they would be using.
Yeah, maybe it's your child is like a reincarnated prison witch that's making potions and peeling potatoes.
Don't ever assume it's not a reincarnated prison witch.
They do seem
a good one, not in a bad way.
They do seem to have sort of like a magnet that draws them to the most dangerous
Yeah.
and or most expensive thing to, like, it's almost like, do you have good taste? Like, I feel like a baby could be like, this caviar is better, just based on like what I can ruin.
Right? Like find out the thing that actually has the most quality before destroying it. Well, yeah. We've got. Thank you very much for calling in. We got your back.
We're on your side.
We're on your side, and you've done nothing wrong.
Except raise a prison witch.
Where's everybody going to be?
Ooh, I'm going to Seattle at Laughs Comedy Club December 1st and 2nd.
Nice.
Awesome. I'm going to be mostly around LA, and I'm going to be starting these work in progress shows to
Oh,
work on
that's
this
exciting.
new thing that
Where
I'm
at?
working on. I'm not sure yet.
Okay.
But it's going to be around town, and then I'm going to take it to little towns and work on my progress.
I
like
love
that.
Yeah, I'll be posting dates on my Instagram at Chris Garcia Comedy.
Nice. And I'm December 8th and 9th, I'm in Philly. And December 10th, I'm in Pittsburgh. You can find everything at kurtcomedy.com. That's Kurt with a K, comedy with a C. Well, thank you. I've been Kurt Brownohler.
I'm Megan Gailey.
And I'm Chris Garcia. And remember,
Your kid will eventually resent you no matter what you do.